Hi, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining, and thanks again for Helen and holding the fort last week and running a fabulous show as she usually does. So thank you so much, Helen, and great to see everyone here for another Friday morning Connect and Share. It will be a bit of a quick one just due to some appointments that we need to get to this morning, but we will still give you the essential need to knows in the industry and recorded for your pleasure, your viewing pleasure later. But before we kick off, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands we all meet today. Today I come from Darug country. Here, when we welcome people, we say Warami. So welcome everyone, and I'd like to pay my respects to all elders, past, present, and those that we're working with to help us interpret their knowledge of the country and the natural aspects that we use every day for our activities. So the Connect and Share is coming up. Today we have the amazing Chris talking to us about the Aussie Peace Walk. And next week we've got all things NOAC. So if you are coming to the National Outdoor Education Conference, here's your must-knows before you jump in the car, jump in the plane, or head up to Lura for the event that starts Monday week. Can you believe it? I think I put a post out saying we've been planning this event for 1,099 days. So we are so pleased that we are finally at the forefront of NOAC. And then on the 30th of September, we have the RFS from New South Wales, the Rural Fire Service, coming and talking to us about the new fire rating system. So important, essential knowledge that we all need to know as we get into the summer months. I don't think we're going to have too many fires, hopefully, this summer. More on the wetter side, I'm afraid, which we'll talk about in a minute. But always good to know where the local device is up to. So jumping into the need to knows, and speaking of wet weather, it has been declared this week that it is a La Nina. So obviously, as we all know, we've gone through this the last two summers. We've got a third summer that we will endure through La Nina. And just a reminder to everyone to stay vigilant on levels of rivers and waters and their activities around those areas. Even in Sydney yesterday and last night, we had 30 mil. So it's certainly already commenced. And yes, please be vigilant. National Parks and Wildlife Service planning is looking at the Illawarra Escarpment plan. So for all of those around the area, the Illawarra area, the Wollongong area, there is a plan on exhibition which we encourage you to comment on if this is something that you are either interested in or are against, or just how does it impact your activities in this area. And that is an establishment of walkers accommodation and supporting infrastructure as part of the Great Southern Walk. It's also amending to allow for rock climbing in some additional areas. So certainly some good news there. I encourage everyone to either compliment or add your comments either way into that, and show that the outdoors industry is listening. We want to be involved and we want to make things better for the future. That closes on the 28th of October. Just announced is the National Volunteering Conference. A lot of you are engaged in the volunteering area and certainly in the recreation space. So this is just popped up. It's on the 13th and 14th of February next year in Canberra. But the expressions of interest are now out for submissions on abstracts and talks at that event. And that closes on Friday the 30th if you're interested in putting forward a workshop idea. You might remember we, at the OCA, got some advice from Bardia Perry lawyers to talk about what are our key legal obligations as people working in the outdoors. And a really important piece of work. Hopefully most of you know this stuff already, but it's a really good reminder to look at your obligations when it comes to legal aspects. So jump onto either the OCA's website, or we've also posted it on the Outdoors New South Wales and ACT website, and make sure you're up to speed with all things legal. Lightning. This has been an incredible conversation over this last week, and incredible not for any other reason but the knowledge gained from what is happening across the world in this space. Recently, we put up a change in our thinking from the Risk Management and Incident Response Subcommittee. That gained a bit of traction and discussion from a lot of operators that are working in journey-based activities. And rightly so, which I thank you all for coming forth and talking to me about it. The long and short of situation is that every business, as we know, has to make its own risk management strategies and what mitigation strategies they're going to put into place in the event of any incident. But what we have discovered, and I must say thanks to Mark Arundel, who has gone over and above the research in this area and brought this content to us, who's a member of the subcommittee. And we actually had a meeting with one of the key researchers in this area in America this week. Certainly the messages were very clear on the risk associated with lightning. And I think it's easy to say that the research is all pointing towards that there is only two ways you can stay safe in lightning, and that is within a plumbed and an embodied building, and also in a motor vehicle with a metal encasing. So what we've got to do now is take this advice. It is on our website. Please review it. You need to look at this and think about how this can impact your own risk management strategies. So there will be more on this. I've actually asked a few of the contacts that we've been in discussion with to come to a forum on this. So I encourage all operators to come along and hear some of the research and really, where the biggest risks are when it comes to lightning. Because I think most people, it's fair to say that we think it's just a direct lightning strike to an individual. Well, that's definitely not the case. And certainly when you look at the deaths associated with lightning, that is not the main cause. So yes, stay tuned. We'll come to you with some more information on that. And again, thanks to my subcommittee, in particular Mark Arundel, for his work in this space. So another opportunity is to get involved, and this is really important. Our nominations for our board of directors, company directors of Outdoors New South Wales and ACT Limited are now open. They do close on Monday, the 17th of October. So please, if you are considering being part of a growing organisation and a voice for the outdoors, please jump on there and put your submissions in. We'd love to hear from you and what skills you could bring to our board. The expos we've talked about a couple of weeks now, but wanted to reiterate that if you haven't put your expression of interest in to be part of these, that you must do so very soon. As you'd imagine, we are now in September, we have October, and then there's November. So we are not that far away from creating these great expos. So we've got one down in Ulladulla on the 22nd of November. We have currently 3 operators involved in that one, and we have one on the Central Coast, which is earlier in November, and a very different style event, but yeah, certainly open to lots of other operators. If you haven't told Helen that you want to be involved, please do so as soon as you can. And the National Parks and Wildlife Service Audit and Compliance Committee. Now, this is actually inviting people with some significant skills that could join the Audit and Compliance Committee. So certainly an opportunity for those that want to understand how things are working in national parks, but also help with the compliance aspect of national parks and wildlife. So if you've got any natural or cultural heritage experience, you've also got scientific qualifications or even nature conservation qualifications, or have legal or financial experience. So certainly jump in and nominate yourself if you are interested in that. A reminder about our masterclass. We've only had around about 8 registered at this point. So I'm wondering what's going on there, but please guys, this is your free opportunity to come to a 2-day event. As a member, you get 2 days of education, workshops, and just camaraderie and connection with your industry. Pleased to say we've got a new partner that's come on board this week, and that is Small Business Month in New South Wales. So the Small Business Commissioner's Office has come on board as a sponsor of the masterclass. So now we're very privileged to have Destination New South Wales, Paddy Palin, Molly Mollymook Golf Club and the Small Business Commissioner's Office as partners in this event. So again, please jump on the website, register your free ticket. If you want to bring someone else, it's heavily discounted at $50 a ticket. So that's totally fine, but make sure you get your free ticket at least. The mentoring programs, the graduation is coming up on the 25th of October for our 2 programs that are currently underway. So that's the ACT Women's Program and the larger New South Wales and ACT program that went over 6 months. So we're combining those on the 25th of October and sharing the results and what's been discussed over this whole time in the mentoring sessions. But we do have our next session open. It will not start until 2023, which isn't that far away. And make sure you jump on and register to be part of that mentoring group. NOEC, we discussed it before. It's not that far away. It's just around the corner, Monday week. The pre-conference workshops. Dr. Claire Dallett's session, the risk management session, is now fully subscribed and booked out. We do have very limited tickets available for Mark Collard's pre-conference workshop and also Parsi Salberg, Amanda Lloyd and Christian Urquhart's session on nature play. So just a few more tickets left on both of those. Other than that, the conference is sold out. The dinner's sold out, and there is still some opportunity for some of the activities, which will happen on the Thursday, the 29th of September. So you can jump onto Climbing School's website there, /NOAC Activity Day, and jump on to get your tickets for all different types of things: rock climbing, canyoning, canoeing, visits to Barker College and their precinct. So lots of different opportunities available for you there. And don't forget the climate change workshop that'll be part of NOEC on the Wednesday morning. This is an important discussion that we can bring to the table and help our retailers in refining some of the changes to equipment, apparel, all of those different things that we use every day in the outdoors. Just give them advice on what's working well for you, what's not working well, but also what we need to plan for when it comes to climate change. So if you're interested in coming along, please drop us a line and we'll be serving breakfast at that event as well. And as we do each week, we do a wrap up of all the grants that are still open. There's some that we've already discussed at length in a couple of weeks now, which is certainly the Regional Tourism Activation and the Young People Recovery Initiative. They are still open. The Stronger Country Communities Fund is still open. And one I picked up this week is the quad bike and SSV rebates. So for those with larger education facilities or camp facilities, certainly if you have quad bikes, you can actually apply to get $2,000 rebate from Safe Work. So have a look at that one. That's, again, one of those things, a bit of money in the bank never hurts. And the new one is the $5 million to activate New South Wales heritage, knowing some of you do have some heritage aspects to your properties, or even just in your local community you might be involved in. Those grants are now open. So if there's something that you would like to look at in relation to improving access, interpretation, caring for, restoring, these grants are a great way to do that. And this has been open for some time, but just a reminder that the disaster relief loans for sporting and recreation clubs is still open. So that is on the Service New South Wales website in case you're interested. I won't play that video. You saw it last week, but just a reminder that the membership portal is coming along beautifully. It's got a little bit more to do, and you'll be receiving an email very soon. If you're a member of Outdoors New South Wales and ACT, there'll be a link that will come from the site to say that you are now enrolled in the new portal, and you can log in and certainly have a look yourself. So that won't be far away. So keep an eye out. And again, don't forget to register your own business and events on the public facing website. So you can jump in, log into the Outdoors, nswact.org, and put your own content in there. I'm going to hand over to Chris now, who's going to certainly fill us in on a fabulous event that happens in Canberra. And thank you so much for joining us, Chris. I'm going to stop sharing, and you've got host rights if you've got anything to share with us. But
okay, well, I wasn't actually thinking of sharing anything. We've got a website, which is the Aussie Peace Walk. If you Google Aussie Peace Walk, hopefully it'll come up. One would hope. If not, it's aussiepeacewalk.com.au, and you can have a look at that at your leisure. What we basically did, we started this in 2021, not knowing in the planning, of course, that we were going to have a pandemic. Nonetheless, we did get 470 odd people turn up during the pandemic, which we're really pleased with. But the idea here is to try and get people outdoors and try and get them to discover the bush capital, which of course is Canberra's tagline. And a lot of people who, even ones who've been here many, many times for work, they tend to fly in and they go to meetings or things, and they fly out and they don't actually see the bush capital.
Absolutely.
So we had a lot of people turn up in the 2021 event that commented on that sort of thing, that they just didn't realise how close things were and how easy it was to get around. But basically what we do is we've got 7 events that are held over 2 days. So it's across the last weekend in March. And there's 2 7K walks, one on Saturday, one on Sunday, 2 12Ks, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. We have a 21, a 24K, and a marathon. And the idea with this is to try and get people to hang around and actually talk to each other and have a bit of fellowship, or whatever you want to call it, that make some new friends and see what the city's all about. We give them a medal if they participate on both days and actually complete the event on both days. So that's, I guess, the encouragement. When they turn up, they register, they get a little passport, which is in a lanyard around your neck. And literally, as you pass each checkpoint, you get a stamp in your passport, and it might be a kangaroo or wombat or whatever it happens to be. And then if they've done what they needed to do and they've got the right stamps in their passport, they get the medal at the end of the weekend. And the picture that you see behind me here, we commissioned a Wiradjuri artist who lives locally to paint this for us. Essentially, if you've never been to Canberra, that's Canberra. I'm Parliament House is, wait a minute, somewhere.
Yep,
there, somewhere. Hang on, I think it's there.
Yep.
Each of these meeting place icons that you see here are where we have checkpoints. So that one, oops, so I get my finger up the right way. That one up there is that's behind the War Memorial. So they're all at different spots. And it's just a nice little graphic that we use on everything, and it's on the flags and banners and all that sort of stuff. Do we have questions?
I'll show everyone the website. I've got it up, Chris. Yeah. So it is on, what was the dates? Oh, there it is, 25th.
It's the last weekend in March. Yeah. Now, what we're trying to do really is encourage people to get out, and it's just a walk. So it's not a timed event. It's not one of those things where a gun goes off and you fly down the road like the sea to surf or something. You take your time, and you can stop at a coffee shop on the way if you like and have a coffee. And we promote it as something that the whole family can do. So you could have we had a 93-year-old did it last year, did the 12K on both days. And we had a whole bunch of scouts that did the 21K and then the 24K. And from a scouting point of view, they can get a whole bunch of additional badges and things like that. And we call it the Peace Walk. And the reason for that is that we're trying to actually promote peace in the community while you do it. So normally we've had a few people comment that, it's not a proper peace walk. And I wonder what a proper peace walk is meant to be. I think they think it's carrying placards and marching down the street or something. But the concept is that if you're walking along, you'll get more of a chance to talk to people if you're all going in the same direction on the same day and doing the same challenge. So the longer the challenge you take on, the more chance you're going to have to meet people. And we ask people in the event to wear something that indicates a particular country or culture. So you might come dressed as a Spaniard or carrying an Indonesian flag or whatever it is. And then other people will get a chance to meet you and talk to you in Spanish or Finnish or whatever it is. So it's very, very much a friendly event where people just walk.
Amazing. And yeah, see there the 7, the 12, the 21, or the 42-kilometre option.
Yeah, and this year, i.e. 2023, because we've now done it twice during the pandemic, we would hope to get a lot of international tourists coming in. We know that there are some that are going to register. Registrations will open next month for early bird registrations. We are hoping to get at least 100 from overseas coming in and carrying their flags or banners and walking around. From discussions and so on with people who we know are coming from Europe, pretty much all of them are going to do the 42K walk and then the 24K walk on the Sunday. Wow. So they're pretty much dedicated walkers. But it's something that we really want to encourage kids to do in particular, because it's something that the whole family can do. So you could walk with your grandparents or your parents, and you're all going to get the medal at the end of it, assuming you do the 2 days. And the beauty of doing 2 days is that you'll meet people on the first day and then catch up with them again on the second day. So you can actually build a pretty good friendship network of people from all over potentially all around the world once we actually start promoting it overseas.
Yeah, brilliant. And you mentioned that registrations will open on the 1st of October, is that right?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, awesome.
If we get the registration system all worked out in the next week or so.
That's always the fun part. And is there any specific fundraising effort where the money goes? Or
there is, and we last year, or the last 2 years, we raised money for a Rotary project for Give Every Child a Future, it's called, which was to vaccinate kids against a whole heap of things in the Pacific Islands. But we're changing it, and we're in the process of doing that right now. And we're partnering with Rob De Costella's Indigenous Marathon Foundation, and intending to help fund a whole heap of projects from their graduates who are in about 60 Indigenous communities around Australia.
Wow.
So they're all Indigenous community health projects that we're looking at starting up.
Amazing. So if anyone's wanting to jump onto the website, it's aussiepeacewalk.com.au. Alternatively, you can actually jump off our website, which is the experienceNSWACT.com.au website, and you can see the link there on the first page, and that will take you straight to the event as well. So that's awesome. Thanks, Chris. Has anyone got any questions or opportunities for Chris with this event? We've got one Canberrian with us today, one not too far away. But if there's any questions or discussion, please jump in. I'll stop sharing my screen. Awesome. Well, this is being recorded, so we'll make sure we get the word out there for you, Chris. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
No worries. We'll be in touch very soon. Great. Now, everyone, is there anything anyone wants to raise while we're recording? Otherwise, we might stop the recording and have a free conversation. Okay, well, on that note, we'll stop the recording. We'll get it onto our YouTube channel for everyone to see, and we'll see you all at either 4 o'clock for happy hour on Friday or next week. So thank you, everyone.